Okay, resolve the regular meeting be. Okay, just-
Oh, yeah, we don't need to do the regular meeting.
We adjourn
Oh.
the public hearing.
Yeah, okay.
So we're
Where am
on,
I? I must have.
we're at conditional use, entered public hearing for conditional use 6. Okay, it's working for me.
But be careful with the resolution, it's wrong. For opening number 6, isn't it? Oh, no, it isn't,
It's
okay,
there.
we're good.
Okay. Resolved, the regular meeting be adjourned and the public hearing be open for conditional use 6 of 2022.
Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Strain, Councillor Bazaro seconds. Any discussion? Hearing and seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor, opposed, and that is carried. And conditional use number 6 is in the name of Link, and I will now ask the planner to take us through that application, please.
Thank you, ma'am. So this is conditional use application CU6 2022. The subject property is located at IXL Crescent. The applicant wishes to allow an exterior storage for recreation vehicle related to permitted business in the light industrial zone. This is the location map. As you can see, the property fronts IXL Crescent. This is the site plan. The use of exterior storage of the recreation vehicle is not listed as a permitted use, but would be considered under other light industry uses not listed in the use table as per the bylaw. Regular planning notes that the proposal would have to conform to the performance standard for light industrial zone, which include items such as landscaping, parking, which would be addressed at the building permit stage. In addition, a development agreement would be efficient in implementing the design feature and infrastructure requirements. Should the council approve the conditional use order, we recommend 3 conditions. Number 1, that the conditional use approval be limited to exterior storage of RVs as proposed within this application. Any changes in use may require a new conditional use approval. Number 2, the applicant owner obtain all required permits from the Red River Planning. Number 3, the applicant owner to ensure an annual business license from RM of St. Clements is obtained for all businesses on the subject property. Thank you. If the council has any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Thank you for that, Santan. Any questions to the planner on this application from members of council? Okay, is the applicant in the audience, Corina and Grant Link? Do you have anything that you'd like to add to your application at this point in time?
Can I add a personal note?
I'll leave it up to you. You've been sitting here very patiently since 6 o'clock. So,
Do you want me, can I just say it from here?
no, I'd like you to come
Okay.
to the podium if
Sure.
you don't mind.
Sure.
Thanks.
We could start first go with this, so let's just, No, I was just gonna say that, you have my letter of intent, but on a personal note, this is a brand new venture for us. We've never done anything like it. I'm a school teacher. I spend my day with 22 10-year-olds. So with retirement around the corner, we saw this property and we saw so much potential in it, and we have wanted for a number of years to build a storage business. As RV owners, we know how hard it is to find annual storage, and so having a location that's safe and convenient, we thought would be a great opportunity. We know of 2 other businesses in the area that provide conditional use storage of conditional use items that we're asking for, and so we would very much appreciate the opportunity to do that as well.
Okay, thank you for that. Any questions from council to the applicant? Go ahead, Councillor Bazarowicz.
How big is that property?
It's 2 acres.
Okay. Is that, these pictures are the best here. Is that bordered on the highway on one side and?
No, it's tucked in the very back
Oh,
of
it's
the
the back.
industrial
Okay.
park. Yeah,
All right.
it's right at the back.
And I think your letter of intent also says that there's a 30 by 54 building on the property?
Yeah, there's a pole shed structure
Okay,
that we're gonna go through the process of converting that into a truck repair building.
okay, and I guess the only question I would have, if the truck repair is not part of the zoning, if it's not allowable, you may need another application. Santan, do you know if a repair is allowable in this zoning?
It is permitted, ma'am.
Okay, okay. Thank you. Any other questions for the applicant? Go ahead, Councillor Strang.
Just clarification, do they require fencing in the area for?
It has that, it is
certain-
fenced,
Okay.
yes, and lock gate.
I guess which would have been nice is a picture just of the outside there.
Yeah,
Because I was surprised when I was reading that there was a building and I was looking on.
I
the
have
lot where-
pictures. A lot. But yes, it's 2 acres, it's fenced with a locked gate.
Okay.
Yeah, because our pictures show there's nothing.
Right, so I was
Yeah.
looking
Yeah,
where
I
the
noticed
spot where
that.
the building is. so-
Yeah, so, okay, so I think there are no other questions from members of council. Is council ready to deal with this application this evening? And I should ask if there's anybody else in the audience who wishes to speak on this application? Okay. So if I can have a resolution to close the public hearing, please?
Resolve the public hearing for conditional use 6 of 2022 be closed, the regular session of council be reconvened.
Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Sutherland, Councillor Bazarowitz seconds. Any discussion? Hearing and seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor, opposed, carried. Okay, if council is ready to deal with the conditional use application, if I could have the resolution, please.
Whereas the applicant owner of tax roll number 211486 of property legally described as Lot 6, Block 2, Plan 43593 and located at 360 IXL Crescent has made application for conditional use 6 of 2022 in order to allow for an exterior storage for RVs related to a permitted business on the subject property. Therefore, be it resolved, conditional use application 6 of 2022 be approved with the following conditions. That conditional use approval be limited to exterior storage of RVs as proposed within this application. Any changes in use may require a new conditional use approval. Applicant owner to obtain all required permits, including occupancy permits from the Red River Planning District. 3, the applicant owner to ensure a business license from the Arm of St. Clements is obtained for all businesses on the subject property. Approval shall expire if not acted upon within 12 months of the date of making.
Thank you for that. Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Spicer moves, Councillor Horvath seconds. Any discussion? Hearing and seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? And that is carried. Okay. That's it?
That's a yes.
That's it?
Very-
A long wait, and it's
That's
done.
okay, it was very interesting.
Genevieve, you have to stay to the end and see all the other stuff.
Yeah.
All right, the next application we have on our agenda is variation order number 22 of 2022. And if I can have a resolution to move into variation, please.
Resolve the regular meeting be adjourned and the public hearing be open for variation order 22 of 2022.
Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Belanger, Councillor Horvath seconds. Any discussion? Hearing and seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor, opposed, carried. Okay, so we are at variation order number 22 of 2022. And Santan, if you could walk us through that one, please.
Ma'am, this is variance application BO 2022. The subject property is located at 208 Sherwood Street. The applicant wishes to reduce the side yard from the required 10 feet to 1 feet to allow the existing deck to remain on the subject property in the seasonal residential zone. This is the location map. As you can see, the property fronts Sherwood Street and there is a residential development in the area. The property is currently developed with a single-family dwelling and a small shed. This is the site plan. As you can see there, the deck is about 1 foot from the property line on the side. Red River Planning notes that the applicant owns the lot next to the property, but there are 2 separate titles and the setbacks must apply to each title. If the council wishes to approve this application, we recommend 2 conditions. Number 1, this variance is limited to allow side yard setback of 1 foot minimum for the existing deck on the cottage, as proposed within the submitted site plan and this application. Any changes in use, further additions and or replacement may require a new variance approval. Number 2, the applicant owner obtains all required permits from the Red River Planning District. Thank you. If the council has any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Thank you for that, Santan. Any questions from members of council on this application? Go ahead, Councillor Sutherland.
Yeah, it says they own the property right next to them,
Right.
and it's not a buildable lot anyway. I guess the one that looks like a pretty narrow strip. So it wouldn't be developed anyway, I don't think, would it?
Santan, how big is the parcel that has no buildings on it, the one next door? What is the width of that one?
50-foot lot.
It is a 50?
It's a 50-foot lot, same size as the other one,
Okay, so,
almost.
So it's buildable.
okay.
Okay, thank you for that. Any other questions? Go ahead, Councillor Spicer.
So just for clarity, the site plan really only talks about the one lot, correct? The rest of the lines around it are all measurements?
Santan, can you answer that one, please?
Can you please repeat the question, sir?
So the site plan,
Yeah.
is it based on just the one lot and all the lines around it are measurements? Because it kind of looks like both lots are there, but then it doesn't. Like it says
That is
lot
correct,
31. Oh, go ahead, sorry.
It's just one lot and the rest are measurements. You're correct, but they do own the lot that is east of the property.
Okay.
But it's not shown on the site plan.
Good, I just needed clarification, thank you.
On the diagram, it looks like that house is on the other lot.
I guess,
Okay, the applicant is, okay, go ahead, Sandra.
I guess I'm asking, is the deck being built? Like, so the next lot next door is buildable. Down the road, if the gentleman went and the people went and sold it, then we have an issue with the deck sitting there that's gonna be 1 foot away from the other property.
Not if he gets his variance.
Says it's existing.
the deck is already
It's
there.
existing.
It's
Okay.
It's
existing.
existing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, I see the applicant is in the audience, waiting very patiently since before 6 o'clock. Do you have anything that you want to add to your application at this point?
Well, first of all, thank you very much for your time this evening. This is not an easy job you folks have. Especially having watched the previous.
You're going, I wouldn't want to be sitting there.
But I've worked very closely with Mr. Singh at the RRPD. And I guess the key thing I just wanted to mention, first of all, was that there's a notice that gets posted on the property, and then the notice goes, according to your rules, to a certain number of property owners either side. In addition to that, I reached out to my neighbors on either side of me, and they were aware of my plans in any event, so this would not come as a surprise, and so they indicated that they are comfortable with what I'm doing. But I didn't get letters from them. But of course, the other important point to note is that, as you can see from the plan up there now, it's 2 50-foot lots, what would have been called lots of record, if you know Gull Lake at all. When the subdivision first went in the 1930s, they were all done 50-foot lots. And if you were fortunate enough to want a little more property, you obtain a double lot. I grew up on Gull Lake, was there since I was born, and my father was there since 1934. But I moved on from the south side of the lake to the north side of the lake when I was a young man, and started my own cottage property there. And I looked very diligently to find a double lot, 2 50-foot lots. So just to fill in the questions that you folks have been asking, because it's not entirely clear, I have an old cottage structure on lot 32, which we currently use. It's a tear down. And this cottage that we're hoping to build onto on lot 31. And so I am the neighbor that's next door that has that 1 foot issue. I have no intention of selling. And I think the value and the parcel is actually greater in the 100 feet. And I personally would not want to be on a 50-foot lot with strangers next door. I like that additional space for the privacy. I actually think 50-foot lots make Skull Lake a little bit overpopulated. So I'm comfortable with continuing to just use the property for myself. But I like the idea. I was asked by Mr. Singh and his associates, well, why don't you consolidate just to a 100-foot title? But part of the reason I didn't want to do that is my children are grown now, and going forward, it's possible that we might want a family cottage legally on a property next door. So I'd like to keep it as 2 separate lots. So that's a long-winded explanation to your point. But just to conclude, I would again be delighted if you were prepared to grant the variance on the terms that Mr. Singh has proposed in his recommendation. So thank you for your attention this evening.
Thank you for that. Any questions from council? Okay, and I'm pretty sure council is ready to move forward on this one, so I will ask for, I will ask for a resolution to close the variation hearing, please.
Resolve the public hearing for variation order 22 of 2022 be closed and the regular session of council be reconvened.
Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Spicer, Councillor Horbis seconds. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Oh, pardon me, and I believe council is ready to deal with this application, so if I could have the resolution for that.
Whereas the applicant owner of tax roll number 664500, legally described as lot 31 and 32, plan 3943, and located at 208 Sherwood Street, has made application for variation order number 22 of 2022 from side yard main for single family dwelling 10 feet minimum to side yard main for a single family dwelling 1 foot minimum. Purpose to allow existing deck on the subject property within the SR seasonal residential zone. Therefore be it resolved, variation order number 22 of 2022 be approved for the following conditions. The variance is limited to allow a side yard setback of 1 foot for an existing deck on the cottage as proposed within the submitted site plan, and this in this application. Any changes in use, further additions and or replacement may require new variance approval. Applicant owner obtains all required permits from Red River Planning District, and that this order shall expire if not acted upon within 12 months of the date of making.
Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Horbis, Councillor Sutherland seconds. Any discussion? Hearing and seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? And that is carried. So you're good to go with whatever you need to do next on your property there.
Thank you so much for your time and for yours as well, Mr. Singh.
Thanks. Have a good night.
Good night.
Okay, the next application we have is variation order number 24 of 2022 in the name of Vermont. And if we could go into the variation board.
Resolved, the regular meeting be adjourned and the public hearing be opened for variation order 24 of 2022.
Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Spicer, Councillor Bazarowicz seconds. Any discussion? Hearing and seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? And that is carried. Santan, if you could go ahead on this application, please.
Thank you, ma'am. This is variation order VO 24/2022. The subject property is located at 780462 Mile Road. The applicant wishes to reduce the site width of from the required 300 feet to 286.3 feet and reduce the site area from the required 40 acres to 20.57 for lot 2 and 20.63 for lot 1 in the A40 zone. This variance is part of a conditional approval for subdivision application number S212905. This is the location map. The property fronts 2 Mile Road. This is the subdivision application map for S212905. This subdivision was approved by the council in August 2021, subject to conditions. One of the conditions was to obtain this variance for lots that were non-conforming to the zoning bylaws. Should the council approve this variance, we recommend one condition. This variance is for the approval of site width minimum and site areas as presented in this application. Any further changes will require a new variance approval. Thank you. If the council has any questions, I'll be happy to answer them.
Thank you for that, Santan. Any questions for council? Okay, and I do not see the applicant in the audience this evening, and as Santan said, this is a result of a subdivision that we had approved. So if council is ready to deal with the application, I will ask for the resolution to come out of the variation board.
Resolve the public hearing for variation order 24 of 2022 be closed and regular session council be reconvened.
Madam Mover, please. Councillor Boulanger, Councillor Strang seconds. Discussion. Hearing and seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. I'm sure council's ready to deal with this one, so if I could have the resolution for this variation order application.
Whereas applicant owner of tax roll number 413300 and 413800, legally described as RL 2231/232, Plan 5495, and located at 78046 2 Mile Road, has made application for variation order 24 of 2022, and from site width 300 feet proposed lot 2 to site width minimum 286.3 feet for proposed lot 2, from site area 40 acres to site area of 20.57 acres, proposed lot 2, site area 20.63 acres, proposed lot 1. Purpose to allow conditions within the conditionally approved subdivision application S21 of 2905. Therefore, be it resolved, variation order number 24 of 2022 be approved with the following conditions: that the variance is for the approval of site width minimum and site areas are presently in this application. Any further changes will require new variance approval. The order shall expire if not acted upon within 12 months of the date of making.
Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Borbas, second. Councillor Sutherland, any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? And that is carried. Okay, the next application we have is variation order number 30 of 2022, and that is on Grand Beach Road. And if I could have a resolution to move into variation board, please.
Resolve the regular meeting be adjourned and the public hearing be open for variation order 30 of 2022.
Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Strang, Councillor Spicer seconds. Any discussion? Hearing and seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? And that is carried. And Santan, if you can walk us through this one, please.
Okay, this is variation order VO 30/2022. The subject property is located at 84 Grand Beach Road. The applicant wishes to reduce the rear yard setback from the required 10 feet to the proposed 5 feet to accommodate a 432 square feet garage. This is the location map. The property fronts Grand Beach Road. This is the site plan. As you can see, the proposed garage is 5 feet from the rear property boundary. Regular planning notes that this property received a council approval in 2020 to allow a 7 feet building separation, but the proposal has been changed in terms of size of the garage, and that variance is no longer applicable. Subsequently, the applicant was recommended to obtain the approval on the new proposal. Should the council approve this application, regular planning recommends 3 conditions. Number 1, that this variance is limited to a minimum rear yard setback of 5 feet for the proposed accessory building as presented in this application. Any further changes, replacements, or additions would require new variance approval. Number 2, the applicant will obtain all required permits from the regular planning district. Number 3, the use of the proposed garage is for personal use only and not to be used as a habitable space. And thank you. If the council has any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Thank you for that, Santan. Any questions to Santan from members of council? Okay, I'm not seeing any hands go up, and I believe that the applicant is on Zoom with us this evening. Now, I'm not sure who the applicant is and who is here with Garage Masters. So I will ask the applicant if they have anything that they would like to add to their application this evening.
Nothing further to add.
Okay, thank you for that. Any questions from members of council to the applicant? Okay, if there are no questions, and we can move forward, and unless the Garage Masters has something that they would like to add to the application?
Nothing further to add.
Thank you. If council is ready to deal with this application, I will ask for a resolution to move out of the variation board.
Resolved, the public hearing for variation order 30 of 2022 be closed and the regular session of council be reconvened.
Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Horbis, Councillor Strang seconds. Any discussion? Hearing and seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor, opposed, and that is carried. Now if we can have the resolution for the variation, please.
Whereas the applicant owner tax roll number 749700 legally described as lot 15, block 6, plan 2639, and located at 84 Grand Beach Road, has made application for variation order 30 of 2022 for rear yard accessory 10 feet minimum to rear yard accessory 5 feet minimum. Purpose to allow a proposed 484 square foot garage to be constructed on the subject property. Therefore, be it resolved, variation order number 30 of 2022 be approved with the following conditions. The variance is limited to a minimum rear yard setback of 5 feet for the proposed accessory building, 484 square feet garage, as presented in this application. Any further changes, replacement, or additions will require new variance approval. Applicant owner obtains all required permits from the Red River Planning District. The use of the proposed garage is for personal use only and not to be used as habitable space. This order shall expire if not acted upon within 12 months of the date of vacating.
Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Horbis, second. Councillor Sutherland, any discussion? Hearing and seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor, opposed, carried. Okay, we have one more variation before we move into our subdivisions this evening. And it is variation order number 41 of 2022. If I could have a resolution to move into the variation board.
Resolve the regular meeting be adjourned and public hearing be open for variation order 41 of 2022.
Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Bazarowicz, Councillor Boulanger seconds. Any discussion? Hearing and seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor, opposed, and that is carried. And Santan, if you can walk us through this one, please.
Thank you, ma'am. This is variation order VO 41 2022. The subject property is located at 552 Still Road. The applicant wishes to vary section 3.8.9.1 on the zoning bylaw, which states that no development or permit should be issued for a residence that does not have frontage on an approved all-weather road, for which a road construction development has not been entered into. This is the location map. As you can see, the subject property is landlocked and does not have frontage to an all-weather road. The applicant's mother owns the property that abuts the road and has frontage. This is the site plan. The applicant requires this variance to obtain permits for a detached accessory building, which is about 2860 square feet, that does not have frontage on the approved all-weather road. This application was sent to Public Works for comments, and we did not receive any objections. Should council approve the requested zoning variance, we recommend two conditions. Number one, this variance is limited to allow access across private property by ways of an easement agreement to access Still Road as presented in this application. Any further changes, replacement, or additions would require any variance approval. Number two, the applicant owner obtains all permits from the Red River Planning District. Thank you. If the council has any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Thank you for that, Santan. Any questions from council to the planner? And go ahead, Councillor Sutherland.
Yeah, the building is going I recall correctly reading before, there's 2 other buildings that are gonna be taken down, and that's exactly where that building is going. They're gonna-
I thought, looking at it, that's what I had
Well, that's what I read
suspected.
at home.
Santan, do you know if that's correct? If
Yes, ma'am. So there are 2 buildings that exist since 1986, and those are going to be taken down, and this is going to be replacing them.
Thank you.
Okay, any other questions to the planner? I do not see the applicant in the audience, and I do not believe that there is anybody else on Zoom with us. So if council is ready to deal with this application, I will ask for a resolution to come out of the variation board.
Resolve the public hearing for variation order 41 of 2022 be closed and regular session of council be reconvened.
Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Sutherland, Councillor Spicer seconds. Any discussion? Hearing and seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? That is carried. Council is ready to deal with this, so if I could have the resolution for the approval for the variation.
Whereas the applicant owner of tax roll number 311925 legally described as north one half of OTM lot 88 parish of St. Clements and located at 552 CIL Road has made application of variation order number 41 of 2022 from no development or building permits shall be issued for a residence that does not have a frontage on an approved all-weather road or road for which a road construction development agreement has not been entered into, to development or buildings permits to be issued for a detached accessory building that does not have frontage on the approved all-weather road purpose to allow permit to be issued on the subject property. Therefore, be it resolved, variation 41 of 2022 be approved with the following condition. The variance is limited to allow accessory across private property by ways of an easement agreement to access CIL Road as presented in this application. Any further changes, replacements, or additions will require a new variance approval. The applicant owner obtain all required permits from the regular planning district. This order shall expire if not acted upon within 12 months of the day of making.
Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Horbus, Councillor Strang seconds. Any discussion? Hearing and seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? And that is carried. Okay, so I believe that that completes our conditional uses and our variations this evening, and we have some subdivisions that we have to deal with, and the first one we have is subdivision file S21-2938 on Parkside Drive. And if I could have the resolution to open the hearing for the subdivision, please.
Resolve the regular meeting be adjourned and a public hearing be opened for subdivision S21 of 2938.
Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Bazarowicz, second. Councillor Boulanger, any discussion? Hearing and seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor, opposed, and that is carried. Okay, Santan, if you could walk us through this subdivision, please.
Thank you, ma'am. This is subdivision application S212938. The subject property is located at 72186 Parkside Drive. This application was presented to the council in February hearing, during which the applicant decided to amend the proposal that required recirculation. The applicant is now proposing to create 2 lots of 4 acres each and leaving the residual lot of 19.62 acres within the agricultural restricted zone. This is the location map. The property fronts Parkside Drive. This is the zoning table. As you can see, all the lots are in compliance with the area requirement of 4 acres and the width requirement of 198 feet of the zoning bylaw. This is the amended subdivision application map. The applicant has reduced from 3 lots to 2 lots for future residential development. This application was recirculated on March 7th to different provincial agencies. We did not receive any objections. And should the council wish to approve the application, we recommend 3 conditions that are listed in the report in your docket. Thank you. If the council has any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Thank you for that, Santan. Any questions to the planner? Go ahead, Councillor Spicer.
So Santan, being with this change now, septic fields would be approved on these two proposed lots? Because I think that was the issue originally.
Yes, sir, that is correct.
Okay, thank you.
It was a width requirement issue, but now they've fixed it.
Okay, any other questions to the planner from council members? Okay, I see the developer is in the audience. Did you have anything that you wanted to add to the application, Ray?
No, I think it's pretty straightforward. It's my second go at it, so.
All right, any questions from council to the applicant? Okay, council is probably ready to deal with it, so I will ask for a resolution to move out of the variation, or the subdivision approval hearing. I've been here too long today.
Resolve the public hearing for subdivision S21, 2930, dash 2938 be closed at the regular session of council, be reconvened.
Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Boulanger, second. Councillor Horbis, any discussion? Hearing and seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor, opposed, carried. And if I could have the resolution for the subdivision, please.
Subdivision application number S21-2938, proposal of RKW Holdings to subdivide part of northwest one-quarter section 5-13-5 and located at 72186 Parkside Drive. Resolved that council approve the said application subject to the following conditions. Applicant to submit confirmation in writing from the Chief Administrative Officer of the Arm of St. Clements that A, that taxes on the land to be subdivided for the current year plus any arrears have been paid or arrangements satisfactory to council have been made. B, development levies be paid as per bylaw 14/2009. C, a grading plan be prepared to indicate positive drainage on the proposed property to the satisfaction of the Arm of St. Clements and to ensure that the proposed property does not drain onto or impede drainage from neighboring properties. D, digital copy of plan of subdivision is provided to the Arm of St. Clements. And 2, applicant owner submits written confirmation from Manitoba Environment, Climate and Parks that the engineered subdivision development drainage plan, including design and analysis, has been provided. 3, applicant owner submits written confirmation from Manitoba Hydro that an easement agreement has been entered into with Manitoba Hydro with respect to existing and or future facilities associated with the subdivision, and a plan of easement as required by the Real Property Act has been provided. Registration of this agreement will be included as a condition of the final certificate of approval.
Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Horbis, Councillor Spicer, seconds. Any discussion on this application? Hearing and seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor, opposed, and that is carried. So you can head over to planning and keep plugging along on the application.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome, Ray. Okay, we have a couple more items to deal with. There is another subdivision with no hearing, and this one, I know that this gentleman, I'm not sure what we wanted to do with it, because this gentleman asked that it be held over. What is the suggestion from planning on this application? There is no hearing, so we don't have to move into a hearing board, do we? No, okay, so. And that's
Yes,
file,
ma'am.
that's file number 222947.
So correct me if I'm wrong, Santan, since the applicant's requested for an adjournment, council can adjourn it to that date.
Not for the time they asked for, because we have to make a decision within 90 days. And the application was submitted on March 10th, so we have to make a decision by June 10th.
I think that's only if that's a requirement for the municipality to do that and the planning board, but I don't think that applies when an applicant themselves requests for an extension. Because the only problem would be is that the applicant may be able to take us to the municipal board, but the municipal board would reject anybody bringing this saying that it wasn't dealt with in a timely fashion, considering they asked for an extension.
They would have to apply for an extension, I believe, and that would recirculate the clock.
I'm saying
Like it
that,
would reset the clock.
I'm saying that there is no need for an extension. They can just ask for an adjournment to a particular date.
I did discuss this with Derek, and the response that I sent was kind of shared response that we can't really, because it's not a public hearing, and they're not allowed to attend the council meeting anyway. So the council can make a decision on it, or...
I think, Santana, I think what the situation here is that Derek's interpretation, I'm not sure that I agree with at this point. So I think what we'll do is we'll request for an adjournment for 30 days, and then we'll make that decision at that point.
Okay.
But will I request for adjournment, Madam Mayor, because I think the situation here is, yes, what we're talking about is Bill 37.
Right.
And so Bill 37 says that we must act within a period of time. Otherwise, the applicant has the ability to appeal to the municipal board because we didn't act within a particular time. But that doesn't negate the fact that if an applicant themselves is requesting for it to be delayed, the decision, then we have to make a decision by that period of time.
Doesn't he have to, within a year though, doesn't he have to?
So that's after it's been approved.
That's after it's been
This
approved.
is in the application itself.
Yeah. Go ahead, Councillor Spicer.
So we have a request in writing to,
Yes, till July.
okay,
The person's leaving out of town.
He's going to
but
be out of the country till July.
I guess just for clarification, I think we would probably go to the next planning meeting, which would be 28 days from now.
Correct. And then at which point, we'll have time to, I think, run this by provincial discussion as well, because I think this is a very black and white interpretation of Bill 37 that I'm not sure that we should be applying.
Well, if we have a request in writing for an extension, I think,
Yeah,
Yeah.
because the only intent of Bill 37 was to move things along faster. Santan, the reason I'm pushing back a little bit, because I do sit on this Bill 37 advisory board, or Bill 33 now, or whatever it's called, Bill 33 now, or 34, sorry, Bill 34 now. And I don't think that was ever the intent, was to force applications. It was a timeline that the planning boards and the municipalities must adhere to, but an applicant was still allowed to delay it, in my opinion. And we can get that clarified with the ADM from municipal relations.
Yeah, I understand.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so what we need then is just a resolution to hold it over, or we'll just note it in the minutes that it's been held over?
We'll just adjourn it for 30 days.
There's nothing to
well, there's no,
nothing to
Well, there's
adjourn.
nothing, because
So
we'll
it's-
just go.
table,
We're gonna table,
table.
let's table it for till the next planning meeting.
Okay, so tabled until May the 24th, I think I said, yes. And that is our next planning meeting.
And I apologize, Santana, I would have liked to have discussed this with you in advance, but we've been fighting snowstorms and rainstorms and AMM. And that was another fight.
Yeah, no, that's completely fine.
Okay, now the rest of these planning issues or planning items, do we need Santan for? Because there's a bylaw for a secondary plan amendment, a zoning bylaw amendment, and an extension for a variation order.
Those are all
Okay,
planning items.
All right, so we'll move on. The next item on our agenda is under number 17, zoning bylaw number 7 of 2022, and it's a secondary plan amendment for first reading. So Santan, are you going to speak to this one?
Yes, ma'am, I can speak to it briefly, yeah.
Thank you.
So this is secondary plan amendment BL 7 2022. This is a text amendment to policy 4.6.2.2 in the East Selkirk secondary plan, which addresses minimum lot size and on-site management of wastewater for properties within large lot neighborhood policy area. The existing policy ensures that new subdivision lots are 2 acres to accommodate on-site wastewater management, specifically septic fields. However, in some situations, the province may not allow the installation of septic fields due to inadequate soil quality, location next to environmental areas, etc. In addition, the province has allowed septic field to remain on a residual lot resulting from subdivision that is smaller than 2 acres, which is conflicting. The proposed text amendment provides some flexibility in addressing site-specific situations and ensure adherence to the provincial requirements. At this stage, Red River Planning recommends that first reading be given to this bylaw amendment, allowing the application to continue with further research and triggering a public hearing process. Thank you. If the council has any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Thank you for that, Santan. Any questions to the planner on this rezoning? Or actually, it's a secondary plan amendment. If there are no questions, I would ask for the resolution for first reading for the secondary plan amendment.
Resolved bylaw 7 of 2022 being a bylaw of the RMSA Clements to amend the RMSA Clements East Selkirk secondary plan bylaw 14 of 2012 be given first reading.
Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Spicer, second. Councillor Strang. Any discussion? Hearing and seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? And that is carried. Okay, bylaw number 8 of 2022, and that is the zoning bylaw amendment for first reading. And Santan, if you can walk us through that one, please.
Thank you, ma'am. This is zoning bylaw amendment application BL 8 2022. The applicant wishes to rezone the property on St. Peter's Road from suburban residential zone to service residential zone to accommodate a future multi-lot subdivision with the proposed future road. This is the location map. The subject property fronts St. Peter's Road. The existing residential development is evident around this area. This is the subdivision application map for the future 17 lots. The applicant has applied for the subdivision, which may be presented at the May hearing. At this stage, we have no concerns with the amendment. Red River Planning recommends the first reading be given to this bylaw, allowing the application to continue with further research and triggering a public hearing process. Thank you. If the council has any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Thanks for that, Santan. Any questions on this application for the planner? Not seeing any hands go up, so I will ask for the resolution to move this one forward and give it first reading.
Resolved bylaw 8 of 2022 being a bylaw of the RMSA Clements to amend the RMSA Clements zoning bylaw 5 of 2002 as amended be given first reading.
Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Spicer, second. Councillor Boulanger. Any discussion? Hearing and seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? And that is carried. Okay, the next item we have is an extension for a variation order, and that is variation order number 33 of 2021. Santan, do you have anything that you want to add to this one?
I can go over it briefly. This is the variance extension request BO 33 2021. The property is located at 36 Michelle Street. The applicant wishes to reduce the front yard from 30 feet to 20.8 feet to allow addition to the existing dwelling in the SR zone. This is the location map. The property is located at the intersection of Michelle Street and Hideaway Crescent. This is the original site plan of the property. This is the site plan with the proposed addition to the building. Variation Order 33/2021 was approved on April 27th, 2021 by the Yarmouth St. Clement Council, subject to two conditions. An extension on this application would allow additional 12 months to complete the conditions listed on the resolution. Thank you. If the council has any questions, I'll be happy to answer them.
Thanks, Santan. Anything from council? If we could have the resolution to approve the extension for this one, please.
Whereas variation order 33 of 2021 was approved by the Yarmouth St. Clements Council, resolution 2021-224 on April 27, 2021, and whereas to date all conditions have not been completed, and whereas the applicant has requested an extension of time in order to complete all conditions of the variation order, therefore be it resolved that Council of the Yarmouth St. Clements grant an extension until April 27, 2023 to complete the outstanding requirements.
Okay, can I have a mover, please? Councillor Bazarowicz, Councillor Corbis seconds. Discussion. Hearing and seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? And that is carried. Okay, number 18.2, I think, on our agenda is
This is to remove a condition from the subdivision,
yeah.
number 19.2, which was a condition for drainage works, as I recall. And it's been proved that the drainage plan is not needed by our public works.
Okay, so if we can have the resolution, I don't believe Santan has anything to add to that one.
Whereas a drainage plan for section subdivision 20-2853 is not required, therefore be it resolved, Council remove the condition 1D, grading plan B, prepared to indicate positive drainage on the proposed property to the satisfaction of the Yarmouth St. Clements and to ensure the proposed property does not drain onto or impede drainage from neighboring properties. As previously approved, Council Resolution 2021-039.
Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Sutherland, second. Councillor Bazarowicz, any discussion? Hearing and seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor, opposed, and that is carried.
Thank you, Santan.
And I believe that's it for you, Santan. Thank you very much. I know it was a bit of a long haul with that one application, but we managed to get through it. So have a good rest of your week, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you, council. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Okay, did we cover everything? Interlake Tourism Board we haven't covered yet. And we did cover the development plan amendment request, but I think we need to just clarify where we're going on that one. And that's the only ones that I know, I can see that we haven't covered.
Henderson Highway
Purchase.
Offer to purchase.
Yeah, we covered that, was to buy it, to sell it for $100,000.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we have a resolution.
Yes, we'll have an out-of-camera resolution for that, and then maybe for the Interlake Tourism once we have the discussion.
Okay, so are we moving in camera now?
Yes, we are, Madam Mayor. Do
Okay.
you want to take a 5-minute break or anything?
We're all moving into
It's a
it.
big agenda.
It was a very big agenda.
It's only 9 o'clock, we're done good.
Yeah.
I did not.
Yeah, we did good. I was thinking we were gonna go right to like 10 and then look for an extension.
Yeah, I thought we were headed.
You still might. Right,
No,
Dave?
we're not done.
Okay,
Yeah,
so do you want to take a
thinking
5-minute break? Let's move in camera and then we'll take 5.
Resolved, council recess the regular meeting and go into in-camera to discuss legal and personnel issues, and further be it resolved that all matters discussed are to remain confidential as per section 83(1)(d) of the Municipal Act.
Moved by Councillor Sutherland, second by Councillor Bazarowicz.
Did you say something?
Oh, all those in favor? Opposed, and that is carried. No, David's just kind of sitting there with his hand kind of like this.
Recording stopped yet?
He makes me do it.